Is Jalen Royals the best wide receiver that you've never heard of? Let's find out. Welcome back to All Pro Football Data. My name is Jim Cobern, and today's episode we are talking about Jalen Royals, the wide receiver from Utah State. I do not know why more people are not talking about this man because he has some really interesting data. He has entered the top 10 of my metrics post combine, and there is so much to like about this guy. He's super underrated, and I'm really excited to show you the things that make him special, the things that are a little bit of concern with him. But I think there's a lot here that if he goes to the right team and goes to the right system, he could easily be one of the best wide receivers for this draft class. With all that stuff out of the way, let's get to his profiles. So first off, total offensive market share, 76 percentile for Royals. Exactly where you want him to be. Not exactly in the all-pro averages, Pro Bowl or starter averages, but close enough to kind of get into that range of possibilities. Receiving market share, 78 percentile in that sort of Pro Bowl starter range when you look at his production traits. 92 percentile in terms of touchdown market share, exactly where you want a player like him to be in terms of exceeding his numbers there. But these are solid numbers. These aren't special numbers other than the touchdown market share. That's the only number that's really special. But he does hit at least that starter to Pro Bowl area sweet spot that I like to see prospects hit and feel comfortable with. And that's exactly where Royals tested right here. Then when you look at his TD percentage and his yards per reception, his touchdown percentage was 90 percentile. Great number there. But his yards per reception was only 58 percentile. So doesn't hit the all-pro, Pro Bowl, or starter averages there. But despite these sort of inconsistencies, there are some really great things to highlight about him, particularly in terms of age and competition data. His age score was 77 percentile. His MSA rating was 74, and his pass score was 80. So this takes a look at his competition for his age, level of competition, and the team that he was on. And this is by far the biggest contrarian argument against Jalen Royals, is that he did have a lot of really interesting production, but he did it at Utah State. He didn't do this at Michigan. He didn't do this at Texas. He didn't do this at a host of other places that he did his production at. But there is that part of me that goes, okay, even though that is the case, there are some really, really special things about him. And first off, to get into that, we look at his first down, second down, and third down production traits. Taking a look at his data here, he was in the 79 percentile in terms of overall production in first down situations. Taking a look at his first downs, his touchdowns, his 15 plus, 25 plus yard plays, all of that, he was 79 percentile compared to other college wide receivers. In second down situations, he was 80 percentile. In third down situations, he was 59 percentile. But in third down situations alone, he had an 89 percentile first down conversion rate in third down situations. In terms of winning football games, in terms of all those other sort of situations there, that's what you want. You want a player who is consistently moving the chains in third down situations, and that's what he did. He did that tremendously. But more so than that, the biggest thing that really makes me excited about Jalen Royals is his red zone production. He was 94 percentile in terms of his ability to produce in the red zone, in terms of total yards, receptions, touchdowns, everything else like that. 94 percentile. His TD percentage was 84 percentile, and his percentage of 15 plus yard plays in the red zone was 96 percentile. He was a fantastic red zone wide receiver, and that is what you like to see, because as the field gets smaller, you want to see, can this guy produce in small condensed areas? It doesn't matter how big the guy is. He could be 5'11". He could be 6'5". Can he produce when everything gets chunked down more? When cornerbacks have that boundary and that end zone as sort of a safety net for them. You're not necessarily going to beat him if he already is. It's kind of like a safety net for him. So can you produce in that area? That really matters. It's highly correlative. It really is. When I ran the correlations to it, there was a correlation to the better red zone production that you had and having more success at the NFL level. And in terms of this data right here, Royals is right in the upper echelon in terms of his red zone production, which is fantastic, which explains why his TD percentage was as high as it is, explains why his touchdown market share was as high as it is. He was a touchdown specialist. His total offensive market share, a little off. His receiving market share, a little off. But when it came to touchdowns, when it came to the red zone, he dominated this area of the football field. And yes, it may have been at Utah State, but if it was at the NFL level, if this translates, this could be a very special player. And then to top it all off, he goes to the combine and runs a 92 percentile speed score. So again, I'm looking at how fast he is for his mass density, for how large he is. I don't really care about the actual number, 429, 444. No, how fast did you run for your size? And he put up a 92 percentile speed score at the combine. Didn't do explosion testing or flexibility testing, so I will kind of want to see what that's like. But elite level athleticism trait right here in terms of speed, elite level red zone production, really good touchdown market share in terms of his overall data there. These are the numbers that you want to hit. Now, in terms of a metric comparison for him, I would say Jalen Royals most compares to John Ross, if John Ross was healthy. Because the biggest issue with John Ross consistently was his health. He went to the combine, broke the 40 record, and got injured during the 40. So, and again, no shame to him. He did his best, but he had a lot of injury issues in his career. He had a lot of issues with staying healthy. Royals doesn't have that same issue. So I think when you look at these guys in terms of their market share data, very similar production pattern. You look at their TD percentage, very similar. Their yards per reception, very similar. The only difference between these two, realistically, is that John Ross played at Washington and Jalen Royals played at Utah State. So yes, there is that question mark that, Jalen Royals produced really well, but he produced at Utah State. He didn't do this type of production at Washington, and I get that. But what if it didn't matter? What if Jalen Royals, despite these issues, could be the John Ross that we wanted? And John Ross was fantastic in the red zone as well at Washington. He was fantastic, an incredible route runner in terms of that particular area of the football field, and his speed was probably his best asset as well in that area. So I say all that to say, Jalen Royals is a fantastic wide receiver prospect this year. He hits all the numbers that you realistically want a wide receiver to hit, particularly for sort of a day 2, day 3 kind of area. But there is this upper echelon upside with him. I mean, out of all the wide receivers I watched on film this year, in terms of their movement ability, Royals was right up there with, Matthew Golden from Texas and all these other sort of players. In terms of just his movement ability, I think he was incredible. So make sure you check out his film. Make sure you keep an eye on him in terms of where he goes, because Royals easily could be one of the most underrated wide receivers in this particular draft class and could be a top 5 wide receiver when it's all said and done. So with all this stuff out of the way, thank you guys so much for watching. Of course, my name is Jim Cobern. Make sure to check out my Patreon page at patreon.com/jcoburn. Like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video with everybody, guys. Your friends, your family, everybody, to get this channel going. So, more people can learn about this channel and learn about the data work that I do. Get this out there, because I'm telling you guys, I keep refining this data. I keep just getting closer and closer and closer and closer to getting that right combination, that right recipe, that right formula of what it means and what it takes to be a great NFL player. And as I keep refining that table, as I keep refining these numbers right here for you guys are ultimately going to benefit. But more than that, you're going to unlock the secrets to NFL success in the draft. So, thank you guys so much for listening. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.